All right, now let's talk about working within the ad set level. So again, we want to make sure our names are congruent in that we're operating very specifically to the campaign that we're working on, and the conversions and audiences and everything are congruent, meaning they're for the obviously client account. So we'll start with demo one lookalike. So again, this is the campaign, the client, lookalike audience, conversions, and we'll create our ad set. So again, we'll start with the client name, and then the type of audience, which is typically going to be a 10% lookalike audience, which we'll talk about how to create those. And then we also add specific interests in there. So that's it. A couple other things you could add to make things a little bit easier to recognize would be the gender, which for CoolStream, a campaign that we run a lot, will be women. And then let's just call it 25 to 65. So it just helps us identify the audience. Now, no matter what type of account you're in, whether you are in an account that I showed in the previous demo, setting up campaigns where you have to select your conversion point, which is the lead, or it doesn't have that feature, you're still going to have to change it here. It's going to default more than likely to something that's not correct. Okay, so we want to go to demo lead, and it's okay that these are red. Again, if a day or two passes and it's still red, then they have problems, but no traffic's going to the site, so obviously it's not receiving information yet. But we always want to set up our custom conversions for these ads that are external, going to external audiences to the lead point. So conversion event location is the lead. We're telling the algorithm that we want you to find someone who's going to go from page 1, so click the ad, go from page 1 to page 2. That's something that's very unique to Facebook. Budget could vary, but typically we'll start a campaign at $100, could go up or down depending on how things convert. You want to add your audience, so we'll go here. I'd already created one for a previous campaign. There's a lookalike in here based off of page views for this client. Then we'll go into our location. We want to make sure to add that and be very specific. So this client is close to Beverly Hills, California. Typically, we put their address in. We want to move things around. There's a lot of density in California. So what I'll actually do, I'm going to toggle to women. Again, age range could be 25 to 65, 30 to 65, something like that. And then I'll toggle in here. And if I was actually sitting on their location, I might move it because I know no one from Santa Monica is going to drive in, etc. But what we want to do, so I'll drop the pin. Let's just say I'll drop it over here. I'm going to close this one. So that's the Beverly Hills. And then click this, go to enter. And so for these local campaigns, I would say 400,000 would be the max audience size, down to 200,000 would be the smallest. Between 2 and 3 has performed really well for us. And then, again, this could vary. I don't use this in California because a lot of individuals don't own homes. But for a lot of these campaigns that are in more suburban markets, we'll type in some parameters around targeting. So they have to be a homeowner based off demographics. And then we want to narrow our audience. You can see how much that cut the audience down in LA. Again, I wouldn't typically use this in LA, and this is going to definitely make it way too small, but just showing you kind of the typical setup. We'll add in premium credit cards as a behavior, and then we'll add in high-end department store cards. So this made our audience way too small. Again, we'd want at least 100,000 more people in there. It's this guy right here that's doing it in California. But again, if you were in Birmingham or Atlanta or somewhere else, it probably wouldn't have that sort of effect. Then we're going to edit placements. We'll always start mobile only. 85% of traffic these days is mobile. Move instant articles, move marketplace, audience network, messenger. So all we're going to leave is Instagram and Facebook newsfeed. Then we'll scroll down. We'll leave this on conversions, and we want to switch to 1 day click. And that is all that we want to do there. Again, we're pretending that this audience is over 200,000, smaller than 400,000. And then we'll just click that bad boy. Now, I want to go over and show you an example because this account doesn't have the update that some others do. A little different than the last thing I showed, but if we have the option, we always want to use, I'll just show it to you. I'm not going to actually edit this campaign. So if you notice, the other one didn't have an option right here for this little guy that we slide over where it says optimize for both link clicks and conversions. If optimizing for just conversions doesn't get enough results. We'll leave that on the standard, but we always want to move that over. I would use, if you have accounts, most people get 5 accounts, something like that, that have this feature, I would use this and not use the other accounts. This is very important. This will definitely help your results. So that's an example of what that would look like and how you would set that up. Coming back here, one thing I didn't mention, this is important. So we'll go to edit and scroll down. We need to, so we've got our audience here, we need to exclude that thank you page. So if you remember, we set up the custom audience. That was, here it is, demo, thank you page, viewed day 1, or viewed thank you page, probably a better way to write it. So we want to make sure to exclude that audience. Now, any of these custom audiences that you're putting in, not lookalikes, but these specific ones based off of URLs, they're going to throw this and make this number, as you can see, are unavailable. So I do this last so that I can see what my reach and everything looks like, so that doesn't jack up that number. That's how you set it up. When you're done, and next we'll move on to creating the app.